We'll just wait for a few more people to show up. Testing this out now. It looks good on my side. So we can chat up. I don't know if chat will work in this. We'll find out. It's the first time I'm connected with Zoom, so we'll see how this goes. It'd be cool to be able to do the Q&A and polls. For the audio's coming in strong enough. Looks like it blasted an email out. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm testing a couple of these different live applications. One that our church uses called Restream.io. If you guys have other ones you like, don't like, that would be fine. If you have an opinion on Restream, let me know. If you don't have an opinion, you've got something else that might want to be looked into, by all means, go ahead and comment, send an email. In fact, speaking of email, there's a please share request. So, this is only really the second episode. I tested this kind of last week. I'd like to be able to do this regularly, coming through the pipeline every Monday at 11 a.m. Just to give you one tidbit, right? There is a questions link on the website, although I haven't sent anybody out except I think the Revstream.io stuff sends some stuff out once it connects because I've got a couple people that said they were kind of interested. So I think there's something going on the back end. But again, this is all new experimental beta testing thing from moi. I just want to be able to share some pretty cool information. And so let's go ahead and I would click this button, but I'm afraid it's going to stop the actual presentation. It does automatically start recording, which is kind of cool. And I do see that. And I think we set that up last week in Zoom, I think. So we have like these like multiple pieces of technology, right? So you've got, while we're kind of waiting for this. So live streaming is like a big thing now, right? So a lot of companies need to figure out how to do this, right? So, you've got a couple different things, right? Let's start with something you've got, this, by the way, is not what I'm going to talk about today at all. I'm just kind of going through this. So, a lot of us will use YouTube, right? Or Facebook, or LinkedIn, right? So these three right here to be able to go ahead and to share information out, right? From our company pages or from our own, in this case, like our own personal profile stuff, right? Some of these services allow for connections directly into all of these, some portions of them, some just personal, some with the business, and it depends on packages and things like that. But at the end of the day, kind of like we're seeing here, is this content I'd like to be able to see, right, on these, stations, and with the little live button and stuff like that, right? So again, I use, what is it? Realstream. So basically, instead of like sending each one of these, right, we actually go ahead and there's companies like in this case here called Realstream, and I'll just abbreviate it right now, Realstream.io. And basically it kind of allows you to broadcast out to those areas, right, automatically. Well, what's neat about that is I think it also promotes, at least it looked like it promoted it on Facebook, or at least it shared it out. Again, it really didn't read too much with it, but you can use Realstream to go ahead and do this, but in my opinion, kind of lacks some of the functionality, right? In terms of being able to share my screen and stuff like that. And I don't know if everybody's used to Zoom nowadays, at least, right? So Zoom has a plugin for this. So basically in your own little, you know, boards and things like that, your own little regular, you know, kind of Zoom presentation, and you can set up a webinar or meeting, by the way, with Zoom. But basically, you know, you're familiar with being able to do what we're doing right here, where you can just see me, but you can also share screen, you can draw on it and stuff like that. So its features are pretty heavy, which is fantastic to be able to use. So they do have basically, you know, those connections in with that. And that's kind of what we're testing here a little bit today. So we've got another minute or so and we'll get started. But again, I'm going to talk a little bit about, what am I going to talk about today? I don't know. Where's my show notes? There we go. I'm going to talk a little bit today about Google Shopping. So good stuff there. So again, real quick, if you guys had any interest in you know, or any feedback in Realstream.io or other ones like it that might be better, by all means, let me know. This is Chris Bernard. We'll start the show now. This is Chris Bernard at Doc29 Consulting. I've been doing this for, let's see, I graduated high school in 99 and then basically started marketing after that. But I mean, I would say probably since 1999, really. I mean, it was Burnett Starcom, MediaVest Group, Leo Burnett, Publicis, worked for large companies like that for global brands. Over the years, become very blessed with working with some pretty amazing people, amazing clients. Learned about data, analytics, marketing. Really, I mean, I probably learned everything I know, probably about 10% of it from college, but the rest of it was all basically like real kind of in the trenches kind of stuff. But being able to track things through from like large company standpoints, tags and different media channels and all that stuff. And then basically about, let's see, 13 years ago, I started Doc29 Marketing. And here's the cool part. I love working with small and medium-sized businesses. Not that we won't work with global brands, because we do, but we really prefer the small and medium-sized business. And there's one major reason for that. One is it's just flexible. You can test and turn and pivot a lot faster than you can with a larger company. It's just, you know, let's just be very honest with you. If you work at a global company, in order for you to release a campaign, right, you've got 5 different teams and 2 other individuals outside of that group. And by the time you guys come up with the data and solution to the problem, it's like 5.5 weeks out to being able to test and pivot and move fast enough. So in many cases, it becomes very labor intensive. So a small and medium-sized business can come through and, you know, within one marketing meeting, be able to come up with the action steps, a strategy, and be deploying the next day or the day after that. So that's one of the blessings of being able to work with small and medium-sized business. So you're taking a lot of that really big, powerful analytics tools, tracking and things like that, and ramming it into a much more explosive, very volatile, very agile, right, environment. So good stuff there. But we're going to talk quickly about Google Shopping. Now, some of you know Google Shopping. If you've been to Google, get rid of the Zoom stuff here. The Zoom stuff. You know, the fat markers, the big fat markers, they have a really hard time coming off. The thin ones are great because they come off really easy. The fat ones, very hard to cut off. Okay. So some of you, you sell product online, okay? So I want to welcome you, first of all, to the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast, right? So thank you very much. Some of us use Google Shopping. Some of our clients use Google Shopping, and Google Shopping might be literally 60 to 80% of their total sales. So this is really, really important if you sell through Google Shopping, okay? So listen up. If you're doing a product for, let's say, pick something. Cell phone covers, right? So you do cell phone covers. I'm just going to kind of abbreviate here, cell phone covers, right? You got your little Google search box, right? You click search, or you just do that search in your phone. You may see some of us, depending on the search query, right? You've got these, the actual shopping, the product, right? There'll be pictures. And you used to have like Google Shopping or Google Ads. I don't even think they do that anymore. I could probably pull it up, but basically different product there, right? And that was actually a Google Shopping feed. When you clicked it, you could go right to Google Shopping, or it could actually go right to the individual product page of that vendor. Now, Google gets that information typically from a feed. Now, it can be done manually, or, so you sell product online, right? When you sell product online, you have a database of product. That means like, the product number, right? The short description, long description, sale price, regular price, weight, all of that fun stuff, right? Shipping information, that's actually another area. But basically that, you picture like a big Excel table, right? Google Shopping is a feed, and that feed just drives right into Google Shopping and allows those products to be managed right in what they call Google Merchant, right? So you can adjust various things, okay? But one of the things that Google is doing right now, and if you'll notice, like I think it was like in June or July of last year, somewhere in there. Some of us who look at analytics, by the way, if you don't look at your analytics, please, for the love of God, do that. So it was like in June, some of our shopping clients were experiencing just a large percentage of abandonment rates, right? So abandonment rate is somebody goes ahead, right? They go to find your product, they click on it, they go and they load it to their shopping cart, okay? They go to load it to the shopping cart and then just leave, okay? It's abandonment, right? That user didn't make it all the way through. Well, in June or July, somewhere in there, it may have been July, I don't know, it may have been earlier than that, I don't remember, time flies. But either way, some of us saw abandonment rates really increase for a lot of our clients in Google Shopping. Well, it turns out, and it was verified, I don't know whether it was a Wall Street Journal piece or something of that nature. It was Wall Street, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal. But they confirmed it. And basically, Google's bot was going in to your website, right? And going ahead and adding, believe it or not, adding product to a cart. And they were doing that in preparation for verification of pricing. Okay, so when you go ahead and when somebody buys or loads things into the cart, you have the price of the actual product itself, right? But you also have shipping and any type of offers and stuff like that. But either way, that pricing information, okay, is what Google is trying to verify. So now they've got it on your cart, okay? They've got it on your cart, and they're going to match that up with the Google Shopping stuff. The reason is because they want the pricing to be the same. Okay, now some of us may not be aware that those always had to be the same. It violated Google's merchant account rules for those two prices to be different. So for example, and even like shipping and stuff like that, you want to make it consistent. Like some of us, for products and things like that, some for Christmas, for example, had free shipping offers going on. Well, we needed to make sure that not only in Google Shopping that was okay, but also on our own product stuff, it was okay. So that there was consistent pricing, right? It makes sense. But on April 6th, okay, of this year, 2021, Google will be enforcing that, okay? They will be enforcing that rule now. And what does that mean? That means right now, they will be sending, they'll alert you like 28 days. I think they'll give you a warning. Now, depending on how your firm is structured, okay, you may not be the recipient of that email. And this is what we're finding for global brands, it can be this way because it might be an agency that you have access to that you don't really see that alert from. But this is where the caution and warning is. If it's like one person in your department, likely they're going to get that email, right? And they should be listening to it. But if it's 2 or 3 or 4 people or even previous agencies, that necessarily may not show up, or that person may not have access to that information. So that little nugget might get missed, okay? And this will be pretty severe because at some point, they'll give you a 28-day warning. At some point, your shopping feed will go dead. It will absolutely go dead, okay? So be proactive, get that information in the hopper, make sure as a minimum step, if any of your sales really are coming from Google Shopping, make sure at least by April 6th, just do it now. Like seriously, just do it now. Don't give Google a warning. Don't assume that you're going to be able to pick somebody up on the 7th or 8th or whatever it is. Just do it now. So as a minimum action step for you to be helpful, confirm the pricing is the same. Now, some of you it's going to be a lot easier than others because some of you have a couple product, some of you have thousands and thousands of product. You can use Excel for this. You export that data out. You can run some reports based on product SKU, and you can see really quickly whether there's a variance on pricing information. There might be an easier way to do that. That's just the way that I would do that. So at the bare minimum, make sure that you do that, okay? An advanced tip might be something that in some of your organizations, these are two different groups of people, right? Or your shopping feed is more of a set it and forget it kind of thing. And you're actually optimizing or adding product and things like that on the other side of it. So it might be a really stellar time, right, for you to actually combine or to get learnings from both and then to be able to do something with it. So a couple things that you might want to consider. What are your top product, right? What do you sell the most of, right? Working with a client to do, what actually does the product cost to manufacture? Where's our profit margin? There might be things in there in terms of, okay, well, we don't sell a ton of this product, but the margin is exceptionally good for these 5 or 6 product, right? So we can do something with that. We can learn something. It's time to explore that a little bit, right? So that's another tip for you. Even seasonality issues. Maybe get that campaign calendar set up so that there's certain product that fire certain times of the year. Maybe it's you increase the budget by 20% for that specific product because it's just coming up. We have Father's Day coming up. We have clients that we're kind of amping up for that. So, doing optimizations for search is one thing to make sure they show up organically for things. But the other side of that is to make sure your PPC programs are geared up. And you've even tested potentially from either last year or this year and integrated those, baked those into your PPC buys for this year. But also in terms of the Google Shopping feed, what worked last year, what didn't, what products that we really need to be zeroing in on. If I have thousands and thousands of products that might be appropriate, look, there might be some nuggets in there, but if there's 5 or 10% of those that really are going to drive the bulk, which in many cases that 80-20 rule works a lot of times, focus on those, right? So I hope that gives you something to think about. Again, minimum, make sure your pricing is consistent this week because I know it's Monday. You've got a full week ahead of you here, right? Which is great. But at the same time, you've got other things working on here, but you may want to zero in on this one thing, right, this week to kind of lay some of that groundwork and foundation for a little bit more improvement and success. And for you that have more time, take us up on the advanced tip, man. Go after it. It's a great time for digital. I mean, what Google just released their numbers. I think they're up. Not that I love Google, trust me, but they're up 23% from last year. In certain, I don't know what 20. I think it was like 23%. At least that's what I remember hearing. But anyway, it's a great time, guys. It's a great time. Go after it. Look at your data. Look at your analytics. If you guys have questions about anything that you may want to explore a little bit here, whether it's Google Shopping or AdWords or any of that, feel free to ping me. Send me an email. The little questions box is up on the actual web page itself. I didn't really post anything out in terms of polls or anything, but if you guys want. By the way, that probably is the best way. That way I can even archive them. I think that might be good. So I hope that helps. We will see you next week for the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast. And I hope you have a great one. Looking forward to hearing some of those success stories this week, group. Take care. Bye-bye.